Hello and welcome to Coffee with Cafe. I'm Chef Kirk Bachman and I serve as the president of Auguste Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Escoffier is proud and honored to partner with Cafe in hosting these Trends presentations, which help fulfill Cafe's mission of linking the food service classroom with the food service industry. Auguste Escoffier School of Culinary Arts is a learning community, and our goal is to help prepare students for exciting and satisfying careers in the culinary and hospitality industries. We do this by providing professional programs which are focused on sustainability, farm-to-table philosophy, and business operations. Students who choose to study with Escoffier are offered an accredited education through the flexibility of 2 residential campuses or online programs. So thank you again for joining us today, and please enjoy this week's presentation.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Daniel Lessem, and I'm the Director of Educational Partnerships and Corporate Chef for Rationale in the USA. Thank you very much for joining today's Coffee with Cafe webinar series. And I'm going to leave a little bit of time in the end of the webinar for a Q&A. So Mary, I'm going to ask you if you would to monitor the Q&A chat in the meantime, and if you could help me with responding to some of those questions at the end, I would love to leave some time for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, we want to talk about what students need to know about technology in today's professional kitchen. So I'm going to give you a brief overview on utilizing technology and trends that we've observed across different operator segments over the years. So let's talk about consolidated footprints to begin. This is a big trend when it comes to technology in the professional kitchen. Folks are looking to operate in smaller footprints, operate a little bit more leaner, less footsteps for employees. So what this means is actually multifunctionality underneath the hood. I know that a lot of you are aware that the most costly piece of technology in the professional kitchen is the hood. So if we could shrink the hood when we're building out spaces and have equipment that is multifunctional under the hood, that is one of the trends in technology today that operators are looking for. Another one is ventless HEPA filters, ventless hoods with HEPA filters. And a lot of spaces don't have hoods. And so operators are looking for this as a big solution to get into different types of spaces. Another big element is SBMO. SBMO is an acronym for small batches more often. And I know that when we're training students to manage quality in the professional food service kitchen, we touch on this a lot in terms of not having to rely on hot holding. So a lot of operators are really hoping to move away and become less reliant upon hot holding technology and more for on-demand technology. So with that comes the need for tools that drive consistency. Tools that drive consistency include anything pretty much to do with climate management. Digital precision has to do with climate management, being able to control the percentage of humidity, time, and temperature with a degree of precision. Cooking intelligence, using sensors to identify the load sizes, the percentage of humidity in a cooking device. Programming and customization are also very important as well. This all has to do with being able to manage consistency and manage cooking climates. Another big trend is hub and spoke commissary operations. In a sense, we're talking about centralized production with smaller outlets that are being fed from a commissary. And this is another important tool in order to control consistency. Last but not least, And our focal point for today's webinar, as far as technology in the professional kitchen goes, is ghost kitchens and cloud kitchens. I really wanted to talk a lot about this with faculty, and I think it's an important topic to talk about and an interesting topic to talk about with students, because we're seeing a big uptick in these types of kitchens and in general, this industry segment as a whole. So let's have a look. All right. So we're going to focus in on the industry segment today of ghost kitchens. Is ghost kitchens or cloud kitchens a game changer in the modern professional kitchen? They're popping up in major cities all around the world. Let's see. Let's have a look at the numbers and make a determination. So here's a study that we put together at Rationale with regard to the growing percentage of food delivery that we're seeing, and as it pertains to the need for this type of technology and this type of kitchen. So basically, the trend began about 4 years ago, but in 2020, because of COVID, we saw a major uptick due to the impact of COVID. But if you take a look and you fast forward in this chart about 8 to 10 years out, and we look at 2029, 2030, we're looking at an approximate 30% share of market held by food delivery services in the industry. So I think that based on this information, there is quite a bit of growth still to be seen on this side of the industry segment, which is important for us to be talking about with students and how technology comes into play. So let's begin with figuring out what is exactly the best way to define a ghost kitchen. How do we define that? And then in a little while, we'll also explore how leveraging different types of technology comes into play. Okay, ghost kitchens are cooking facilities with the purpose of producing delivery-only food without any dine-in option. They're optimized for pickup delivery service companies such as Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash. So all in all, as far as leveraging digital app technology and geo-positioning technology, these are what we call ordering platforms that have created or given way to the rise of ghost kitchens as an industry segment. They can also be called dark kitchens, cloud kitchens, or virtual kitchens. Now, in addition, based on the rising segment percentage in the industry, it becomes more and more important for us as educators, as chefs, to think about how we train, study, and work with students and faculty on this niche technology. How exploring cooking methods and different solutions that are specifically optimized for delivery only comes into play. And also, I think with students, the idea of exploring the topic of virtual brands is an interesting one. And we're seeing a lot more of these virtual brands come up as an after effect of the rise of ghost kitchens. So what exactly do I mean by a virtual brand? Let's have a look. So your typical ghost kitchen is made up of a couple of different concepts. So operators are normally cooking for either A, their own brands or virtual brands, or B, they're cooking for brands which they're licensing on behalf of a specific brick and mortar concept, or C, they're operating a commissary kitchen to accomplish a mixture of either A or B. So if you take a look at this chart, you'll see an example of, for example, Tony's Pizzeria or Subway. Those are real life brands, or what we understand as real brick and mortar brands. If you look at the kitchen operator column, you'll see that in one case, Tony's Pizzeria is running their own fulfillment behind the scenes of delivering upon their product. But for Subway, Kitopi, which is a change maker and a major ghost kitchen company. They're, in a sense, operating the Subway brand behind the scenes. Now, if you look at the example of virtual brands down below, these are lesser known concepts in the industry, but Kitopi and Rebel Foods and several other ghost kitchen operators have gone ahead and to create their own brands as a result of building the infrastructure, which are designed to deliver food based off of ghost kitchen or cloud kitchen production in a delivery only environment. So how big is this really in terms of prospective growth in the industry? Let's have a look. So ghost kitchens have a huge potential worldwide. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to different projects that are. This is an overview of projects and also of operational partnerships that are happening around the globe between brick and mortar concepts, virtual brands, and ghost kitchen operators. Kitopi is one of the ones leading the charge as well. If you're interested in learning more about Kitopi or other ghost kitchen concepts, you could check out, there's a full story on Kitchen Rebel to read how Kitopi, one of the largest ghost kitchens, has built their platform and technology and is utilizing it around the world. All right, so what exactly is involved with this? Basically, you have order platforms that are linking the customer to the ghost kitchen. Then you have really significant commissions that are being paid by the kitchen operators and the brands to be able to present their menus on the order platform, such as Uber Eats or Grubhub and that sort of thing. Then the virtual brands will also take hold and define the menu and the cooking needs and the required equipment based on the particular concept and the demand. One very important factor to understand about ghost kitchens are that the physical locations of the kitchens themselves will define the delivery radius and the potential end customers. So if any of you have ever ordered from Uber Eats or Grubhub, depending on the location of where the food is being picked up, that will determine how long the wait is. But a message gets pinged to a nearby driver, and once the driver confirms the order, that order is typically relayed to the ghost kitchen only about 5 to 6 minutes prior to the pickup. So that can vary by concept, but more or less that's the way that it works. Now, depending on how customers purchase through the app on an ongoing basis, their behavior will influence future brands, as well as menu development at each of the different ghost kitchen locations. All right, so what exactly does a ghost kitchen look like? And what kinds of technology go into a ghost kitchen? Well, for starters, what's important to understand, which might be a little bit different than your traditional banquet kitchen or a la carte kitchen, is that there's a shared space. So while you're operating multiple brands out of a single location, there is a general shared space for general prep, ingredient storage, as well as receiving. And then usually what you'll find in most cases is that you have smaller cooking pods is pretty much what you're looking at here. And each of the cooking pods will operate an individual brand or individual menu. based on the different orders that are coming in. So in a sense, that makes the whole operation extremely efficient given the shared space. Now, this is exactly where multifunctional equipment comes into play, because in the pod, you need to have the ability to do different types of cooking techniques in a very, very small space. So let's have a look. This is where companies like our company, Rationale, and many others come into play, in the sense that multifunctional equipment can consolidate cooking methods in a very limited footprint. So for example, the Rationale iCombi can do frying, baking, grilling, steaming, poaching, all in the same cabinet. The Rationale iVario can boil, fry, deep fry, and soon in the summer of 2021 here in the United States, we'll be able to do pressure cooking as well. These units can also connect to an online portal called Connected Cooking in order to track food safety information and all of those things, which makes it a very nimble system. But let's have a deeper look. So this is what a typical screen might look like on this type of technology. So I'm sure many of you have used combi ovens before. This is the new iCombi Pro, and it's being operated in a mode called iProduction Manager. And this is exactly the type of mode that you would find being utilized in ghost kitchens, because you're able to multitask, do different things at the same time. The images that you see here are more of a batch size cooking, but the same thing could occur for one-off orders for smaller volumes. The picture on the right will show the management of the different levels so that you can accomplish a rolling production, saving time while controlling quality. This is extremely easy to use and easy to keep track of, and is pretty much the standard right now for accomplishing this type of multifunctionality. I'd also like to show you a little bit more in depth what the screens look like. So let's talk about when we're in the kitchen and we're working with different teams. Number one, it's very important for the cooks and the culinarians that are working in these type of kitchens to be able to adapt quickly to different menus, different operating environments, and so on. But at the same time, they have to be able to drive consistency so that end users who are ordering food are getting what they're expecting. So being able to customize the screen such as this allows for ease of use and pulling up programs that have been preset to operate in a specific cooking climate to accomplish a certain goal for a particular dish. Now, the example here, actually, I pulled from one of our K through 12 account operators, as well as a multi-unit operator called Organic Crush. So you have two different examples here, not only for ghost kitchens, but this type of technology is also used for managing school cycle menus, as well as multi-unit accounts such as Cheesecake Factory and things like that. All right. So I'd like to get back to the portion of the technology that highlights the cloud-based systems. And this is when getting, when managing in a multi-unit operations capacity is important. The cloud-based technology Connected Cooking allows you to connect different units and branches through the World Wide Web. So you can manage your recipes, you can track HACCP data, you can transfer cooking programs, you can get automatic updates, and really keep an eye of what's going on, not only in the kitchen, but in the actual equipment in the kitchen. So we don't have a lot of time. I'd like to say thank you to all of you for attending the webinar. And I'd like to share some information with you about Rationale's Partnership and Education Program. We have a program called the PI program, Partnership and Education, that helps schools get access to the latest and greatest equipment, very modern technology at deep discounts for educational pricing. There's free accessories. We provide continuing education for faculty members. We come in and do workshops. We also provide support with curriculum, in the way of slides and handouts that you can share with your students. We help you configure connected cooking in the classroom if you'd like to do activities that are digitally based or cloud-based with your students, as well as we love to know about all the different special events that you're doing around campus. So here are just some highlights on the Partnership in Education program. And I would be more than happy to hear from each and every one of you and see how we could help you bring the latest and greatest technology into your classroom. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much and stay curious. Reach out to me, please, via this email address, piprogram@rational-online.com. If you'd like to request Partner in Education details or tell us about your school, and we'd love to hear about the types of programs that you're working on and presenting to students and the different types of curriculum that you're running in those programs. So let's talk tech for Teaching Kitchens. I look forward to hearing from you again. Thank you. So if anyone has any questions, go ahead and either raise your hand or enter it in the box. All right, well, if there aren't any questions, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us today. Oh, there is a question. All right, how does the Combi Pro fry and bake at the same time? All right, so essentially we have technology that we would like to refer to as active dehumidification. So the iCombi is not designed for submersion frying, so we'll call it pan frying for ease of explanation. And what happens is we move the air around evenly in a process called dynamic air mixing. And while we're evenly distributing the air using an intelligent convection technology, we're also pulling the moisture out. So if you have a product that's been breaded, say, for example, a boneless, skinless chicken thigh, and you want to do sort of like a chicken katsu, Japanese style, you can put a beautiful, coat it with a little bit of sesame oil or maybe a blend of sesame and a vegetable or canola oil. And then if you use one of the pan fry settings on the unit, it will automatically crisp it up as well as cook the inside if you are using the probe to a specific internal level of doneness. So you can choose your level of browning and your level of doneness at the same time. And so with the use of iProduction Manager, you can accomplish cooking a variety of different products at the same time. But the environments do need to be somewhat similar. Good question. Any other questions? All right. Well, I thank you very much for joining today. And we will look forward to hearing from you at piprogram@rational-online.com. We'd love to hear more about your teaching facilities and some of the programs that you're running at school and how we might be able to partner with you. Thank you.